Okay.
Hey everyone, my name's Austin and this channel is all about digging deeper and going further to better understand faith and film and everything that is in between. If that's exciting to you and you're new here, make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you can check out a new video just like this one every Friday. Due to different events going on around the world today, many people are quarantined at home and social distancing themselves. And with that, I want to recommend a number of movies that you can check out that focus on social distancing and an emphasis on being by yourself. First on the list we have 10 Cloverfield Lane. When monsters may or may not have invaded Earth, John Goodman's character Howard builds a bunker and takes in a man and a woman, telling them that he is protecting them from this attack that is outside. Now, what better movie to watch when you're trapped indoors than one about three characters who are trapped indoors? It gives a great story and all three main actors give great performances all around, and the story keeps you guessing as to what is really going on the whole way through. This movie is one of my favorite thrillers and one that I highly recommend, so if you've not seen it, check out 10 Cloverfield Lane. Now's the perfect time. Next we have A Quiet Place. I had planned on doing a more in-depth video actually last week, but due to recent events of the second one being postponed, I thought it best to hold off on that one till the second one comes out. But for the time being, it is still one that you can check out because the movie has a heavy emphasis on very small, close-knit groups of people staying away from others, because the more people, the more things you have going on, the more danger you're in as the monsters in this world react to sound. Obviously, the apocalyptic events in this movie are nowhere near anything that's really going on now, but I think it's just enough that it's a good one to check out right now, especially because we have to miss out on part 2 of A Quiet Place coming out, so let's just get in part 1 one more time because it's a great movie. Next we have the movie Contagion. Now, I have only seen this movie once, but I really enjoyed it. It gives a very realistic portrayal of how our world might respond to a global pandemic. I've been seeing this one showing up in my news feed a lot, of people going back and watching this one now, even though the movie was made almost 10 years ago, because of just recent events and how similar they are to what happened and took place in this movie. So if you've not checked it out yet, this might be a good time to go back and see how our world might continue to respond to the ongoing crisis. Many people are currently stuck at home and some of them alone, but imagine being trapped in space all alone. That's the premise of the next two movies we're going to talk about. First, Gravity. The Gravity tells the story of George Clooney and Sandra Bullock and their two characters who, due to an accident in space, are trapped in Earth's orbit and must find a way back to the planet. It's a very well made, very beautiful movie with a great soundtrack. It's not necessarily my favorite sci-fi quarantined movie, but it's a really good one. Next, though, is one of my favorites. This one, I think, is one of the greatest sci-fi movies made so far, and that is The Martian. This movie is incredible, and though Ridley Scott seems to have a hit and sometimes miss track with his movies, this one is absolutely a hit. Matt Damon plays botanist Mark Watney, who becomes trapped on the planet Mars and must find a way to communicate with his crew and space station back on planet Earth and get a way to return back home. What more could you ask for? I know we are still closer to Christmas past than Christmas future coming up, but I still think it's worth talking about Home Alone. Obviously, this movie is a well-loved classic. It tells the story of a boy who becomes trapped at home right around Christmas and must defend it from some burglars who are breaking into houses around the neighborhood. Again, I know it's not Christmas time, but hey, Hallmark Channel just did a Christmas marathon last weekend because of everything going on, so I think I can talk about one Christmas movie on this channel. There's not really anything that I can say that hasn't been said, but this movie is one that if you're looking for just some great warm Christmassy feelings in this time of worry and fear, this is one that you can turn to completely eliminate and replace those feelings. It brings tons of laughs and a great message of hope on family and the holiday season. I absolutely love when a movie can function with very minimal characters as a whole, both main and side characters. Now, The movie that I think perfectly exemplifies that is The Shallows. This movie basically, for the most part, just has like one character. There's a few characters mentioned throughout the movie, a little at the beginning, a little at the end, and a couple referred to throughout, but 95% of this movie is one person, Blake Lively, and she does an excellent job carrying this movie. Blake Lively plays Nancy, who is surfing on a secluded beach, and while she is out, becomes trapped on these rocks and quickly discovers that she is in the feeding grounds of a great white shark. And she must use her skills and wit to figure out how she can get safely back to shore without being eaten. This is one of my favorite just fun thriller action movies, and I've mentioned multiple times on this channel how the first time I watched it was with a group of friends, and that really helped to enhance the experience for me as well. And since then, I've just absolutely loved and had fun with this movie every time I go back to it. Finally, we have the movie that should be the first one that comes to mind when you think of social distancing in quarantine. That is Solo, a Star Wars story. And the reason I mention Solo, a Star Wars story is because it's about Han Solo, and he's alone and he has no people, so he's solo. That was a joke. Obviously, that's not a movie about being alone, but I wanted to have some fun and throw a last gag in there. I hope this list and video has given you some new movies to check out or movies to return to during this time of just isolation and being trapped with all the social distancing quarantine going on. Hope you had some fun along the way, and thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like the video, make sure you're subscribed, and share it with someone who you know will enjoy it just as much as you did. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next video.